is the one and only Isaiah Thomas. Are you there, Zeke?
I am here. How are you?
What's up, my brother? How are you? How's everything going?
Life is good. I am here in Denver, getting ready for Denver, San Antonio tonight, so all is good.
Well, let me tease you a little bit because I'm your brother. I'm your boy. I can do this to you. Let me tease you a little bit. You're already looking better than half the population, even though you're over 50, but you're on the treadmill acting like you're fat and out of shape and need to lose some weight. I just told on you. Is that a problem?
No,
is that a problem? That's what I'm saying.
That is not a problem, and thank you. But you know, I have to try to keep up with you because you on TV looking good. I see you and Will Bond now. Y'all got the whole NBA on lock, telling all the secrets, giving up all the information. We can't hide anything anymore from you two.
Well, let me say this to you. I need your help with something because let me tell you something. There are questions that I don't have answers to compared to the likes of you. So let's get right into it. We got a playoff game tonight, closeout game. We've got Portland in Game 5 going up against the Oklahoma City Thunder. I think the big question right now, Zeke, is what the hell has happened to Russell Westbrook in your opinion? How do you go from shooting in the 80th percentile from the free throw line to 66% this regular season? How have you been struggling with your shot the way you've been struggling in this series against Damian Lillard and the Portland Trailblazers? What the hell is going on?
Well, two things I see has happened. We have to give Lillard a lot of credit for his maturation and growth over these last couple of years. And I'm not talking about the way he's played the game. I'm talking about his maturity as a leader, his personhood, and how he's approaching the game. His relationship with his backcourt mate and McCollum. I mean, they have stayed tight throughout some very difficult times in Portland. And too many times we measure growth only by points, rebounds, and assists. But what I've seen in him as a leader, as a man, and as a player has definitely shown the light and shined the light on how far he's come and how far he's paced Westbrook. You know, when we look at Westbrook, you know, we love his talent, we love the way he competes, but his maturity level and maturation level as a leader and also as a teammate and as a player has definitely been stifled. He seems stuck on where he was in the past and not necessarily where he needs to be presently and in the future.
Zeke,
and I think that's affected his game.
Elaborate on that. What do you mean by that when you say he's been stuck on the past? Specifically, what are you talking about?
I'm talking about him being a past MVP of the league, someone who's averaged a triple-double, and someone that we've all admired the way he's played the game and competed within the game. We all expected a maturation from an intelligence standpoint in terms of mastering the game and not turning the ball over at crucial times, taking good shots at the right time, making sure your teammates are involved at the right time, just doing all the things that we see Lillard doing now that Westbrook isn't doing. So Westbrook has really stayed stuck on the numbers and not necessarily transcended to the intelligence part of the game, where you need to really be the quarterback and the leader out on the floor to make your team win.
We're talking to Isaiah Thomas, two-time NBA champion right here with Stephen A., ESPN Radio, ESPN News. I'm looking at the backcourt because we're talking about Russell Westbrook right now, but Dame is averaging better than 28 in this series, on better than 43% shooting from the field, 44% shooting from three-point range, launching about 9 three-pointers a game throughout this series. C.J. McCollum is averaging better than 26. He's also shooting, better than 43% from three-point range, launching nearly 8 three-pointers a game. Then we look at Paul George and Russell Westbrook. Paul George is at 26, Russell Westbrook's at 21. Both of them are shooting 37% or worse from the field. Both of them are shooting 30% from three-point range. So is it fair to just be talking about Russell Westbrook, or is Paul George getting a pass in all of this, even though he's averaging 26.8 a game in this series? Should we be talking more about Paul George or more about the backcourts against each other as opposed to Dame versus Russell Westbrook?
Definitely the backcourts against each other. However, the two prominent and most notable people in the series is Westbrook and Lillard, and those are the two that we focused on. But when you move to the backcourt, you definitely look at it and say that the smaller players are dominating the taller players. So Westbrook is a taller player than Lillard. George is a taller player than McCollum. And why are the smaller players having such an effect on the two bigger players who are clearly, have more athleticism and size, so forth and so on? The smaller players are playing a smarter game. They're taking better shots. They're getting more quality looks. And when they take the ball to the basket, not only are they finishing at the rim, but they're also going to the foul line and they're making their free throws. So the quality of shots that the smaller backcourt and Portland is taking and getting, that's dominating the bigger backcourt that you have in OKC right now.
We also know that Nurkic went down before the regular season ended with that nasty leg injury in a regular season game. And I'm looking at the three top shooters for for Oklahoma City. Paul George and Russell Westbrook are both shooting 20 times a game. And then you got Dennis Schroeder shooting about 11 times a game. Yet Steven Adams only getting about 8 shots a game. And I'm wondering why you're not doing something to feed him the ball more. Am I wrong in that thinking?
No, you're not wrong at all. And this is a series that we thought that Adams would be able to dominate because of his physicality and also because his ability to play around the basket. Adams has not received the ball. He hasn't gotten enough touches. Well, when you look on Portland's side of the table, what those two guards are doing, they're incorporating Kanter. They're making sure that Kanter gets enough touches and that he's effective within their offensive set. I see George and Westbrook right now not necessarily playing to win, but playing to kind of cover themselves in the media from a statistical standpoint to make sure that they get their numbers, but not necessarily win the basketball game. Whereas on the other side, you have Lillard and Westbrook playing to win the basketball game and also getting their numbers.
So with that being said, if the Oklahoma City Thunder get closed out tonight, how bad of a look is this going to be for Russell Westbrook? How bad of a look is it going to be for Paul George, who elected to stay in Oklahoma City as opposed to going to the Lakers?
Well, I say it's a terrible organizational look and also a player look. I mean, you gotta take it all into account, Stephen A. You look at OKC over the last 8 to 9 years. Arguably, they've had the best players come through their organization over the last 8 to 9 years and haven't been able to hold those players. They've probably spent the most money over the last 8, 9 years than any other organization or top 5 organization out there also. So when you look at the players who have come through there in terms of Durant, Westbrook, Harden, Ibaka, Paul
Reggie
George,
Jackson.
Reggie Jackson. I mean, that organization and that management has had, a plethora of players that have come through their organization. So to just blame it on Westbrook and George this year, yes, that is a bad look. But when you look over the last 8 years from where they were in the NBA Finals, if you just start from when OKC was in the NBA Finals battling against the Miami Heat, and look at what has happened to them and the players that have come in and out of that organization, not only do you have to question players, but you also have to question the management, coaching, and so forth and so on. So it's not just Westbrook and George. I think you have to examine the whole organization and their strategy, what has happened, and critique that also along with those two.
One of the greatest guards in NBA history, the one and only Isaiah Thomas, right here with Stephen A., ESPN Radio, ESPN News, doing an outstanding job, by the way, on TNT and the NBA TV, calling some of these games, covering and giving his analysis. And I would encourage everybody to go to NBA TV anytime he and Kevin McHale are on together. They were doing an outstanding job throughout the regular season, just giving basketball lessons on a weekly basis, for crying out loud. Let's transition to the Eastern Conference for a second, because obviously one semifinals matchup is set up, Isaiah. We've got the Greek Freak and Milwaukee. obviously with an exceptional job being done by Budenholzer as the coach, going up against the Boston Celtics squad led by Kyrie Irving. We had a debate on First Take this morning. I said Kyrie Irving is more important than the Greek Freak because as phenomenal as the Greek Freak is, you look at the team around him and the exceptional coaching job that Budenholzer has done this year, and you juxtapose that to the Boston Celtics and what we've been seeing from them. I think Kyrie is everything, whereas as awesome as the Greek Freak is, I think Milwaukee could do some damage even without him.
Of playoff basketball in Portland, Blazers and Thunder and Damian Lillard. My goodness, 34 points in the first half. Sets the franchise record for points in a half of a playoff game, and they lead by 1, trying to close out the Thunder 61-60. American Express halftime report. Ernie Johnson with Kenny, Shaq, and Charles. American Express teammates. We're going to make Dame your teammate on this one, Charles, because you have the record for points in a first half in a playoff game with 38 against Golden State.
Well, Chris Webber pissed me off when he made that Nike commercial.
I know, you had 56 that night.
He dunked on me and made a commercial, see Webb, and I had to give you a little reminder. I'm Chuck Barkley.
Oh, you had to.
You know who I am.
But Dame Lillard with 34, and he has 34.
That's the ball.
Pass the
Man,
ball.
listen, tell him I was on fire. Well, when you're on fire like that, what you got to do?
I wish you would have had 40. And be like, hey, I tried to get 40.
Chris made that Nike commercial, and I had to send him a little message. Don't be making fun of me in no commercial, see Webb.
Well, you got a breakdown of Dame Lillard in the first half. Lot to see.
Before you succeed, you must first learn to fail. And for the last 2 years, he has failed. He's been knocked out in the first round the last 2 years. Listen, this is a closeout game. He's saying, give me the ball, let me go to work. And I like his game. Usually when I watch him play, it's all that. It's all threes, all jumpers. But he's mixing up right there. Put his head down, knock the defender off, pull up right here, doing all the little stuff. You can get easy points like this, then you will have 34
Going around them like they're not there.
The only thing I'm nervous about, because when you have a hot first half, it's 3 things that are left to do. You can have more than 34 in the second half, you can have less, or you can have the same. So if he can get 68 tonight, or if he can get 70, if he can get 80.
Great.
No, listen.
Yeah, more. You could have less.
It's true. He got 34 in the first half.
Okay, he got 34.
Okay, if he does
got more,
the
that's
same,
okay.
I know. If he does the same, he'll end up at 68. If he get more than 34 in the second half, he'll have 78.
Has anybody ever had that in the history of basketball?
I don't know. That's what I'm saying.
Three things can happen. You can get more, get less, or stay the same. All right.
He can end up 40, 50, 60, 70, or 80.
And he's done that while C.J. McCollum has had 2 points and 3 fouls in the first half.
Yeah, CJ is the reason why I think he took more shots as well, because if you looked at everyone, maybe with the exception of Cantor, everyone else on the team is about where that shot load is at.
Right.
Overall, though, the one thing I was looking at is, you went on that side. Paul George has been very efficient. I've been saying now, bring him into the game.
Nah, I'm good.
And I thought he was bringing him.
There was Chuck's chance.
Hey, you could have got me, Chuck. Chuck, you would have won. Because I sure wasn't looking that way.
Chuck.
I sure was.
I'm going to get you soon, Kenneth.
Oh, well, anyway, Paul George, I was like saying, the one thing that he has to do is take advantage of his size and his athleticism. And he really hadn't. I don't know if it was because he was hurt. It's 3 things could have happened, Ernie. He could have been hurt, he wasn't hurt, or he could stay the same. One of the 3. But Paul George had to do something. He had something different. So right here in the post, freeze it here. I want him to take. You have McCollum on you. He's a smaller guard. You don't have to make any moves. The defense is ready. Just rise up over him, take that shot. So now you're just putting pressure on the defense without taking a dribble, without taking a shot, without using your dribbles or using your dribbles. But now, if you freeze it. You know what, Ernie? First time in the playoffs, I'm going in the screen. Oh, yes, and I'm here in the great city of Portland, Oregon. And hey, Billy, man, I'm playoff Ken. this playoff P over there. We got to get him off. We got to figure out a way to go. Because look, over here, they're putting this wall. They're playing a wall so make sure our guy Paul George doesn't get off. And they got a defensive player here. So all of a sudden it looks like a 3-2 zone. But then he has the creativity. Tell him to go away from the pick. Don't always come to the traffic. Go away from the traffic. Score the basketball. Get us going. Be aggressive because this is a do-or-die game. Get me out of here. Go ahead, get me out of here. Buckets! Buckets!
I wondered if you had thrown your mic away.
No, I was getting my stuff over here, Ernie.
Excellent shoe game tonight, by the way.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Very nice.
Oh, this is just. I had to bring this from. I had to brought this from Portland.
That's Cologne.
That's
Portland.
That's the Ron Sloy really
There you go.
tan
Ernie, he
Portland
said to give
tan.
this to you, Ernest.
Yeah.
This is for you.
He sent us a bunch of this earlier this year.
It's the really tan Ken.
Oh my God.
Oh man, that stuff
tan
stinks.
Portland tan.
That stuff
How's it
stinks.
smell?
Oh, that's
Hey, what? One thing about that.
Oh, you ain't gonna want to smell that.
Hey, one thing about that.
Smell like potpourri.
I know.
Potpourri. Potpourri. Oh my God. Potpourri.
No potpourri.
Hey, you can never
Black
rob.
people say potpourri.
You can never rob a bank. They'll smell you before they see you.
Oh God.
Only two things can happen now. We can either stay here or we can go to break. We're going to go to break. Back with more on the American Express halftime report. Oh,
That go
at this.
really tan Ken.
Yeah.
That's sweet. That tie. I like that yellow.
He
I
got
like that.
Bumblebee, big bird yellow suit on. I like
I
that.
like that. That nice little green in that tie.
Ron sent us a message, so I'll share that with you
I
guys
don't believe
later.
you laughed at my analysis. Out of all people, I thought you would understand.
You can do three things: more, less,
than
or the
34,
same.
or less,
I know.
34, or the same.
And that's why I was laughing about it. What are they doing to you, Jet?
They're
I
Alex.
like your eyewear.
I do too.
What do you say getting ready for a science experiment?
A what?
You say look like Kenny's getting ready.
A what?
That's what it meant.
Welcome to the American Express Halftime Report. American Express, the official card of the NBA.